Welcome, sisters, to another Prayers for Humanity. Our theme this month is freedom through forgiveness. And I'm I can already feel my guides coming in. I'm very excited to share this message with you today and to again hold this sacred space with my dear sister, Priestess Koryanka. And let's see, anything I want to say, any announcements? Not really. I think I just want to guide us through a few breaths to get us grounded, centered, and together, and then we'll begin. So if it's safe to do so, you can close your eyes and just take a moment to tune yourself inward to your breath. Breathing deeply into the heart space to allow yourself a few moments to come into alignment with the energies here and with your own sacred heart. And as you breathe out, allow that exhale to be the energetic that releases anything that does not serve you in this time now. As if you're just putting it on a shelf somewhere to be picked up later or released completely because it does not serve you moving forward. And breathing in, opening into the field of our connection. Breathing out, anchoring your energy downward into Mother Earth. Breathing in, rising the spine, expanding the chest and heart. Breathing out, relaxing the shoulders, the jaw, the top of the head, and any parts of the body that are ready to release now. And one more breath in to open into the space, into this connection, into this beautiful time together. And then exhale. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I just want to begin by introducing myself and introducing my dear sister priestess friend Koryanka. We are your hosts for this ceremony, and this month I'm facilitating. So if you came in a little late, again, our theme this month is freedom through forgiveness, and this is our October Prayers for Humanity, and I believe this may be our 12th or 13th gathering. So we've been doing this, I think we started in September of 2021. So anyway, my name is Dawn Del Vecchio, and I am a priestess of many years. I began my journey when I was 18 years old and had a home birth with a group of other women. We all shared the same midwives, and we ended up, long story, but becoming priestesses over time. In 2016, I really began to get the nudge from Divine Mother that I had to step up and lead in some way. And I began to bring back some of the ceremonial skills and some of the sacred feminine training that I had when I was younger and sort of had put aside in my life as a writer and an international traveler. And so long story short, in 2019, I was guided to begin a summit called Return of the Priestess. I had no idea that when it rolled out at the beginning of April 2020, that the whole world would be locked down, and it changed everything. It supported many sisters, and it certainly supported me and revealed to me the importance of the priestess in these times, the sacred woman who is holding the field for our collective awakening. And so I'll talk more about that later, but this is just a very basic overview of who I am. Most of you know who I am, but just in case there's a few sisters here who don't. And then I would like to now introduce our dear Koryanka with, first of all, sharing with you that tomorrow is her birthday. So tomorrow we honor, and we can do it certainly today, the birth of this beautiful priestess on the planet at this time for this potent period of planetary ascension. So happy birthday, Corey. And let me tell you all a little about her for those of you who may not know her. So Koryanka is an Incan high priestess, medicine woman, and transformational guide for awakened women who want to step into their sacred destiny and live authentically in their divine essence. She comes from an ancient healing tradition in the Incan lineage. In her work as a priestess, she continues sharing these spiritual practices and teachings as part of her ancestral legacy. Koryanka is a midwife to the rebirth of women around the world into a bright new life of purpose, and assists priestesses, medicine women, and creatives to step into the highest level of their leadership through high ceremony based upon tradition Incan and Amazonian medicine in sacred retreats in Cusco, Peru, and through online retreats and sacred programs. So now you know a little about us if you didn't before, and now I would like to invite Corey to welcome everyone and also to open the space for us.
Thank you so much for that beautiful intro, Dawn, and for the birthday good wishes from everyone. Let's start by dropping really deep within so that we can create the sacred space to start these beautiful prayers for humanity. So we can close our eyes if that feels good to you and take some deep breaths. We're gonna be starting with that. And we can see with the eye of the mind the divine light entering through the crown of our heads, Pachamama sending her loving energy through the sole of our feet, and both energies merge in the heart center. With intention, we cleanse ourselves, allowing any heavy energy to go all the way down to our feet and through the feet going to Mother Earth for transmutation. We invite our spirit guides, all of them, our spirit guides of love and light, to cleanse our spaces, our homes, prepare us for these prayers today. And we invite them to create a bubble of protection, of divine light energy all around us, all around our homes. And we say this prayer with love and with reverence. Divine Spirit of love and light, beloved teachers and guides, beloved Pachamama, the spirits of the great mountains, teachers, guides, wise spirit plants, ancient ones. We call also our ancestors of the earth. And we invite you to bring your great wisdom to us today and to transmit your sweet, loving medicine and uplifting energy. May you bless prayers for humanity and everyone in the circle. May we be also a blessing to the world. May this serve also for the highest good of all. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Corey. And again, thank you and welcome, sisters. We had a few new sisters join us here at the last moment. So welcome, welcome. And we are going to get started now. So again, our theme is freedom through forgiveness. And I want to begin by inviting the master teachers, Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, or also known as Jesus, to join us in this gathering, for they are the messengers of forgiveness. Perhaps not the only ones, but certainly for our times and for those of us who were raised in Judeo-Christian traditions, these are very important teachers for us, for they are teaching us the way to freedom, the way to awakening, which is through forgiveness, which I'm going to share about a little more in a moment here. So I just want to take a moment to really welcome Jesus, one of my primary teachers, and his beloved Mary Magdalene, the great priestess of old who has supported many women in these times, to come and join us in this sacred space, to guide this transmission and overlight this transmission, that I may be a conduit through which your highest guidance comes in the name of love to share with all of my sisters. And so we welcome Mary Magdalene and we welcome Jesus. And thank you for being here. And so, sisters, I invite you to receive these messages that I'm going to start with the sharing here before we go into our forgiveness practice guided process, to receive these with a loving heart and with an open mind. And you can make yourself comfortable, lay down if you'd like, whatever works for you. So what I want to share here is, what is forgiveness and why is this the key to our freedom? So I'm going to share a few lines here first, and then I'm going to kind of unpack them and explain them. And these are the things they all start with forgiveness is, and these are things I've written. So this is my, an essay that I shared in my community. So if this sounds familiar, you might have gotten it in an email. Forgiveness is an ongoing practice, not a one and done, at least for those of us living in these times. Forgiveness is but the remembrance of love's presence and of our ultimate oneness in that love. Forgiveness is not a permission slip for bad behavior. Forgiveness reunites what has been separated through judgment. Forgiveness reunites our minds with God and with each other. So just take that in, trusting and knowing that your subconscious mind can absorb, even if your conscious mind doesn't even remember what I just said, that there's a message there. It's a message about the remembrance of who we really are and where we really are. We are the beloved creation, the beloved children, if you will, of the one divine Mother, Father, God, which is the energy of love. And therefore, as the creation of love, the child of love, we are that. And here in this realm where we have been steeped, many of us for many incarnations, we have been conditioned into a belief in deep separation, and our bodies, our physical vessels, are a demonstration of that belief, as is the deep conditioning of judgment. Whether it's the fire and brimstone preachers of the times of the Inquisition, or the petty tyranny of annoying bosses, or the wars on grand scale, or the conflicts in our love relationships or with our children or our parents. All of these are experiences experiences that have been cultivated through the encouragement of judgment and a belief in separation, a belief in limited resources. If you get 2 pieces of pie, I only get 1, or I get none. So we have, for a long, who knows how long, been, generation upon generation, living in a world that is steeped in great suffering, great trauma. And many of us have returned this time around to clear up soul fragmentation and soul trauma in order to be prepared to ascend, to awaken to love's presence, and to no longer have to do the 3D shuffle, to move beyond it. And the key to that is to forgive everything, ourselves, everybody, everything, the world such as it is, everything. No small order. And so we do it gradually. That's why the first statement I said is forgiveness is an ongoing practice, not a one and done. So many of us have been told that the opposite of love is not hate, but fear. And that does make sense, that it is through fear that we react from a place of scarcity or judgment, defense, which is also attack. If we're defending, we're already planning a counterattack, even if it's just in here. But recently, as I've deepened into my Course in Miracles practice, I've come across one of the lessons near the end of the 365, where Jesus, because the Course in Miracles is a book and a course that was channeled by a woman named Helen, and it was Jesus channeling. So where Jesus talks about how judgment is actually the opposite of love, because judgment separates, whereas love unites. So when I judge you, I make myself more separate from you. And that separation and that judgment comes from the split mind, the ego aspect of the split mind. Whereas when I offer unconditional loving acceptance to you, even if I have to set boundaries because it's a toxic person or whatever, but if I offer the loving grace of God there, but for the grace of God go I. Mother, forgive her, for she knows not what she does. When I choose that instead, I choose the miracle. I choose to take a step closer to the union that we truly are beyond this seeming separation. And so forgiveness ultimately frees us from the judgment that keeps separation alive, that keeps us feeling separate from all of life, from Divine Mother, from our Creator. And so this can really slam up against our beliefs, such as we've been brought up to believe. And it can really slam up against our feeling of safety if we have been traumatized by perpetrators who have been abusive, for example, or, when we were little being, harmed by an adult in some way, physically, sexually, whatever, that there's that part of us that says, how could I possibly forgive that? Or it could be on this world stage right now, we see it's been going on for years. The propagation of hatred toward world leaders, toward politicians, toward a certain sect of people who believe different than we do. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. There is a very intentional continuation of propagation of hatred, judgment, and the belief in and therefore the feeding of the belief in separation. This sort of finger wagging self-righteousness that people hold against each other is rampant on our planet. And as someone who's been in the United States now for nearly 3 years full time, since everything began in 2020, I have seen just how extreme it is in this country. And I've heard from other sisters in other parts of the world, there are varying degrees of this depending on the country you're in. So this is the ego's playground. This earth is the ego's playground in 3D. The 3D earth is the ego's playground. And the ego has a vested interest in keeping separation alive through the acts of judgment, self-righteous indignation, making people bad, making people wrong, all of that. And it's contrary to what seems to make sense in this realm to forgive even those you find most irritating. So just take a moment to kind of just let that filter in. I do realize there are many sisters here who are already course students and Course in Miracles students who this is not news to you, so please bear with me. And also there may be some of you who are somewhat familiar with these principles, and perhaps those who this is brand new information. So I'm really wanting to bring this through in a way where it kind of can land for everyone from in the heart. So what do we do when we have someone in our lives who has actively harmed us? How do we navigate forgiveness in that way? Do we go up to them and say, hey man, I know you raped me, you beat me up, you whatever, fill in the blank. You mentally abused me for years. You told me I was a piece of turd on the sidewalk, and I grew up thinking I had nothing going for me, and it's all your fault that my life is a failure and blah, blah, blah. Or do we just pull back and say, I don't need to engage this person. What I need to do is go within and find within myself the part of me that has the free will choice to not judge them anymore, to not feed judgment anymore. So that's the option. That's the path. The path is not to go up to someone who has seriously harmed you and say, hey, I forgive you, no problem. Go ahead, keep acting like a jerk toward me. That's not what forgiveness is about. Forgiveness sets us free. When we forgive, when we step back from the choice to judge again and again and again and again, what we're doing is we are atrophying the ego mind. We are atrophying the part of us that is keeping us in separation, keeping us in 3D, and keeping us suffering, therefore. So if you really think about this on the practical level, if you've had, and we've all had, a bad guy in our lives, just say bad guy, just to put it simply, a perpetrator, a troublesome person, someone who has caused us grief, heartache. It could be a family member, a kid. It's often family of origin is where it starts, but then the pattern repeats. So just anyone, just think of someone right now, whoever that is. And if you feel the trigger of ire or of sadness or of victimization, that's in a sense even better for what I'm inviting us to explore right now. Now, ultimately, we are all one. And so what you emanate into the field affects everyone. And right now, in these experiences of separation, if that person that you've brought up to your mind is now triggering in you statements of judgment, hatred, fear, etc., where is that judgment, hatred, fear, etc. going on? Is it going on in their life? Is it going on in the public sphere? It's going on in here. And that's really the only place it's going on. And this is the only place we have control of. We don't have control of what's going on out there. We don't have control of public leaders who are not doing things in our best interest, or that we have opinions about. We don't have control of that. We have control right here. And each and every time we choose to back away from going back into the pony track of judgments or hatred or fear, or reliving old stories about how they did you wrong, every time we choose not to do that, we strengthen the frequency of love. We strengthen the part of the mind that is connected with our creator, that is connected with divinity. When we fall into judgment, we strengthen the ego. We strengthen separation. When we choose to back away, we strengthen our connection to the divine, and that's where miracles can ensue. And there's no order of power of miracles. Like you could, it could be small, it could be magnificently large. And we do that through this practice of forgiveness by choosing again and again to withdraw our energy from judgment. And it's not easy. I'll tell you just a quick story, then we're going to move on here. I had an encounter several years ago, and it's happened periodically since, where my practice of forgiveness is really put to the test. And there have been times where I have literally had to take mala beads and go, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme, over and over for hours, simply to keep the mind from going into judgment and attack toward that person. So it's not that it's easy. That's why I say it's not one and done. It's not like, oh yeah, okay, there was that person in my life, several years ago, or a parent when I was a kid. I forgive him now. Done deal. Maybe. And when that person arises in your mind, what are the thoughts you're thinking when you're not even aware you're thinking? Do you go into judgment? Do you go into defense, which is the other side of the coin of attack? Do you one-up them in your mind? Do you, whatever it is? If you do, you're engaging that energy. You're engaging the energy that supports separation rather than unity. So just a couple more things I'm going to say, and then we're going to go into a little guided practice here. This was the lesson that this is now an essence. This isn't the actual lesson, but it came from lesson number 350 in A Course in Miracles. This is my sort of interpretation of it. Only God's memory will set us free. And only forgiveness allows the memory of God to return. So only the memory of our Creator, of our loving Creator, can set us free. And it is only forgiveness that allows that memory to really come home and be present within us. So deeply and truly, forgiveness is the path to freedom, to spiritual liberation. We can do all the rituals and all the ceremonies we want, and there's nothing wrong with them. You know, I'm a ceremonialist. I love doing ceremony. It brings us into sacred connection with each other. And if we walk out of the sacred circle and go back to the same habits of thought, secret thoughts within our head of judgment, of unforgiveness, of resentment, bitterness, spitefulness, including toward ourselves, the not enoughness or too muchness that we judge ourselves about. If we continue to feed those, then ceremony can only ever take us so far. We have to take those steps back through the practice of really liberating ourselves from judgment. So we get what we give, and we give what we get. When we give forgiveness, we receive it in turn through the peace that surpasseth understanding. I am not free until I let the world off the hook and set everyone free, knowing that they are just struggling through the same miasma of 3D conditioning to judge and hate that everybody else is, knowing that they're struggling with their own traumas and soul fragmentation over incarnations of this nonsense, this 3D nonsense. When I set them free, I become free. And the world I experience is not free until I set myself free. So I have to let my own self off the hook too. So this is what I had to share with you today. And I pray this lands well for you, that you receive this with the loving intention that I share it with. I am guided deeply by Jesus, working with him on a regular basis as he is, his teachings as is taught in the Course in Miracles. And I know from my personal lived experience now, over doing this for almost 5 years, that this is the path to true spiritual liberation. And as we set ourselves free and set the world free, the world becomes free and we become free. So let's just take a moment, take a breath. I'm going to take us into a process here in a moment. And I just want to check in and see. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do now is a very simple little forgiveness practice. And what it is a little template for you to use with others and with yourself in the future. So the first thing I'm going to do before I drop us into a little more of a meditative state is ask you to bring someone to your heart and mind that you know in everything I just shared is the person that needs your forgiveness right now. So it's probably the same person. It could be the same person that I asked you to bring up a little while ago. It could be someone else. This could be a public figure. This could be a parent, a sibling, a child. This could be, it could be yourself, but I'd rather you do someone else right now. For this first exercise, you can do this for yourself on your own another time, but someone that you really feel the trigger. You really feel that when you think of them. Not someone that's like, oh yeah, years ago, they kind of, no, someone that really gets your ire. And so we're just going to set them in your mind's eye, sort of aside, or, kind of in front of you, but not straight in front of you, just to the left of you. That's where I'm getting guided to. Just in your mind's eye, place them just to the left of you. And with that, go ahead and close your eyes. And we're just going to take a few breaths now to drop into the heart. So breathing in and breathing out, to allow yourself to feel your own energy field. That other person is outside your energy field right now. You're just in your own space, your own energy. Breathing in and opening the heart space for yourself first. And then exhaling to allow the breath to saturate all of you with the light of love. And if you'd like, you can imagine that light of the divine coming down through you to fill you with the light of love. As you breathe in and out of the heart space. Good. And as you continue to breathe in and out of your heart, you notice the way that light and that love offers a beautiful, comforting field of energy that simultaneously supports, surrounds, and protects you. And so allow that to be so with the breath. Good. And now when you're ready, bring your awareness to that person that's in front of you and to the left. And allow them to step forward now so they are facing you. They're right in front of you. At a space that and a distance that's just right for you. And you know what that is. Good. And as you stand there or sit there in your mind's eye, and this person stands before you, you're going to invite your higher self to drop in and reveal some things about this person's life journey to you now. Experiences they may have had that were less than optimal, either in their current incarnation or in others. Heartbreaks or traumas, disappointments, frustrations, misguided teachings that they received. Just witnessing your fellow human in the recognition that they've had many different experiences, not all of them good. And perhaps these come as impressions for you, perhaps visual, perhaps words, perhaps not much at all. And that's okay too. Because as you witness this fellow human, you know in your own life wisdom that they could not have had merely a happy-go-lucky, perfectly blessed, multiple incarnational experience in 3D. That's not the nature of this place. And perhaps as you witness this person, you see also their crimes, their sins, their errors, their mistakes. And as you do, you know that in some way they will have to bear witness to their own errors and experience the consequences of them in this life or another. For they too, as a fellow human, are on a journey of remembering love's presence. And you may just be a little farther along than them. And so in this witnessing of this person, allow them now to step back a little bit further so that you get a bigger picture of the space around them. And notice that indeed there is a light coming from Creator, connecting them, a cord, the life force, just as there is a cord connecting you. Indeed, this person too is a child of our loving Creator, misguided perhaps, having done a great deal of harm perhaps, lost in the dream of separation for certain. And yet loved without condition nonetheless by our loving Creator, just as you are. For this is a dream of separation, sometimes a dreadful nightmare. And yet beyond it all, we are all the one self, united with our loving Creator, made in her likeness and image, powerful enough to create or miscreate as our free will chooses. And so as you stand witness to this person who has harmed you in this life in some way, and as you see or get impressions of some of what they may have walked through in this and other incarnations, and as you see and remember that they too are a beloved child of the One, misguided, lost in form. Can you see now how it's possible to set yourself free of entanglement with this person and rather choose the remembrance of your union by letting them off the hook, by stepping back from judgment, by choosing love, knowing that you may need to set solid boundaries with this person. They may not be someone you're going to allow into your personal life ever again. And from this place, you know it's possible to do that with a loving heart of remembrance. And so now, sisters, in a way that is right for you, I invite you to offer an energetic symbol that represents for you your energetic sovereignty from the hurtful dynamics between you and this person. Perhaps there's a cord that needs to be cut, perhaps, or untied or untangled. Perhaps there's simply some kind of letting go, and you can do that now. And as you do that, you can now offer to that person the love which flows through you from Creator, extending that love toward that person, not as a bond of connection, but rather as a parting gift to free yourself and to free them. Good. And notice now the way it's possible to be within your own mind and your own energy without entanglement with that person anymore. That it's possible to step away from the habits of judging them, the repeat pattern, the pony track of thought, and to set a new course and a new frequency that sets you free and sets them free. And take a deep breath to drink in the light of our loving Creator, with whom you now connect even deeper, having offered forgiveness and relinquished judgment for just this now moment. Feel the freedom of that as you breathe in and out of the heart. And now, in a way that's right for you, you can seal this energy. Perhaps it's just surrounding yourself in more light. Perhaps it's placing your hands on your heart. Perhaps there's a symbol for you that arises in your mind's eye to remind you that you have the power and the free will to choose the freedom that comes from forgiveness. And placing that symbol into the heart, take another deep breath. As you exhale, wiggling your fingers and toes, coming back into the body, into the room where you are. And on the next breath, opening your eyes, feeling fully awake, fully alert and present. Thank you, sisters. So we have a few minutes. If anyone has anything they want to share in the chat, you can go ahead and write that in now, and go ahead and maybe take even a sip of water or tea just to get yourself really grounded. And know that you can do this practice over and over and over again with different people, and also, please, with yourself. The places in your mind and your heart where you hold self-recrimination or guilt or shame, these are useless emotions. Mother, Father, God sees you through the eyes of love. You are forgiven before you sin, and sin only means to miss the mark. Sin is only error that can be corrected. So we have thank yous and beautifuls. You're so welcome, sisters. Thank you for being willing to do this work. Let us not underestimate the power of 91 women coming together to forgive those people we have held a grudge against for far too long. We liberate ourselves and thereby liberate the world. So thank all of you and each of you. Gina says, very important and powerful, Dawn. Creating this as a recorded product will help many, many. Oh, thank you. Yeah, true. Thank you for that, Gina. That's a good tip, to actually turn it into something really that can be put out there. I appreciate that. Ilana says, thank you. I am an ACIM student. Lesson 154. Beautiful blessings. Jessica says, your words are so calming and peaceful and motherly to my spirit. I appreciate these meetings so much. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. Catherine says, thank you, everyone. I felt for the first time the pain inside the person who I had held in front of me. My relationship with him is forever changed. Thank you, Catherine, for sharing that. That's exactly it. There, but for the grace of God, go I. Those who hurt us the most suffer, whether they know it or not. Thank you for that forgiveness. That is truly a miracle and a blessing. Linda says, thank you, Dawn, for this beautiful practice. We were all birthed through the same fabric of love, and this brings us back into alignment with that. Indeed, indeed, sister. Sarah says, thank you so much, Dawn, for volunteering your time and energy to lead us. You are most welcome. And more thank yous after that. So thank you, sisters. I want to, before we go into sealing this, I just want to again offer a thanks to Mary Magdalene and to Jesus, my teachers. They've saved my life and many others through this practice. And so I thank you, Mary. I thank you, Jesus, for returning as master teachers in this time to help us with this ascension journey. It is a deep honor to be a conduit through which this guidance comes. And for this time together, though I know you are with us and walk with us always, I release you from this circle and say hail and farewell and thank you. Oh, it's hard to cry with makeup on. It makes my eyes water. Makes my eyes burn. So I would like to invite Corey to offer a blessing to seal our time together.
Let's place our hands right here on the heart center. And with joy and gratitude, we say this prayer. Divine Spirit of love and light and beloved teachers, guides, may the creation that we are part of, all of us, the creation of a new world where there is plenty of love, where forgiveness becomes an everyday experience for more and more and more people. May we bring the love that there is in our hearts and the power of forgiveness to all of our brothers and sisters in any way that is in alignment. Through our energy, through our words, our actions. May we bring this energy, this liberation through forgiveness to our brothers and sisters and use our God-given power to spread the love and light around the world. Blessings for everyone. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Corey. Oh, I'm getting like a black eye from my makeup smearing. Thank you. Thank you, sisters. Thank you for this beautiful gathering. And we wanted to share with you our next, just the little practical thing here. Our next one is going to be on the 29th of November, right, Corey? And we have to work out the time because on Tuesday, I fly to the other side of the planet for the first time in 3 years. So I'm very happy to go back to my other home on the planet, which is Thailand. And so our timing will be a little bit different because I'll be 12 hours ahead of Corey at that point. So we'll, as always, you will get emails for it. So we look forward to gathering then. And anything else you want to share about that, Corey? We don't know our theme yet, right?
No, that's going to come. I always ask for divine guidance as to which theme is going to be the one for the time, for that month. And well, I want to share that one will be for now the last one that I will do, because I will take a little break from leading the prayers for humanity every second month. And that is because there is something that I need to be birthing and it requires some space and time and all of that. So it's been really, really tough to come to that decision. But I look forward to continue being in Prayers for Humanity, which Dawn is going to be leading and be part of it and be the co-host with her. And I look forward to next year doing pop-up Prayers for Humanity when the divine calls and then continuing with it, because it's really a work of love that has really made my heart full, and it gives me so much joy to share prayers with you.
Yes. Yes, we will miss this co-creation in this way, but I know you're still here with us. So to be continued, there will be some shifts next year, how we do it. First of all, I know I'll be January. My husband and I are adventuring in Southeast Asia, so we may not have one in January, but anyway, to be continued. We'll keep you posted for sure, because this is becoming such a energetic movement that there's something important that we are all doing here for the collective. So there'll be a way in which we move forward. So I want to
Yes.
thank you all, wishing you a most happy Samhain, which is the next holiday on the wheel of the year. Happy holidays, although we'll see you before that anyway. And thank you again for your courage and your love and your willingness to do this important work of forgiveness for yourself and for all of us. Many blessings. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah. Thank you. And if
Thank
you
you.
all would be willing to hang up, because Corey and I will take a moment to just debrief. So I see people getting off the line now. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, I can stop the recording. I do this every time.